Welcome to Movie Night Spotlight. I'm your host, Dave Lindsay, and I am joined today by Bridget Sullivan and Patrick Goad. How's it going, folks?
Hey.
Good. Hi.
We're talking to them all the way from Florida because they don't like the snow.
Oh
Woo
no.
woo.
It's 65 degrees and we have a
And
fire.
we have a fire going.
And that's cold for Florida?
Yes.
That's crazy.
It is freezing.
It's like 25 degrees here, and it's going to be like -5 on Saturday morning.
No, thank you.
Bueno.
No thanks.
Yeah, so you guys are missing out. You guys are all down there warm.
We'll just go to Disney and be nice and cozy with our Starbucks drinks.
There you go. Speaking of Disney, you two are two of the biggest Disney fans that I know.
Pretty much.
How often do you guys go to Disney World?
In the last 9 months, we have been at least 125 times.
That's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. I'm jealous. I wish I could go to Disney that often.
Hey, you spent some of those visits with us.
I did. I was fortunate this past May to hang out with you for 3 days at Disney. You guys gave me a great experience there, my first time.
You needed a vacation from your vacation after you were through with us, though.
I know. That's what you guys said, that I planned it out right by doing it that way. It was pretty much nonstop. I mean, we took breaks here and there during the day, but...
And I was so sick.
Yeah, you were pretty sick. But for someone who's pretty sick,
I'm sick
of the show.
With Disney.
8 Tylenol was not enough.
Yeah. You were a trooper. You put on a happy face and had a good time.
How it is. It's the magic.
It was awesome.
And one of your favorite characters is Mary Poppins, so that is why this week we're discussing the recent movie Saving Mr. Banks.
Yes,
Great
she
movie.
is an amazing woman. And she was a real-life character. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, this movie actually, we learned a lot about Disney and how the making of the movie was actually a lot harder than what some of the other movies actually, how hard they are to make. I don't know.
20 years. 20
It
years
took
he
20
tried to
years
get that.
to make that movie, and just to think if you were to have made it earlier, it may have been completely different.
It's true. Now, did you know much of the backstory before seeing the movie, or no idea?
No, just a really big Mary Poppins fan, and now I appreciate it 100 times more than my 1,000 times appreciating it.
What is it about Mary Poppins that you just love so much, though? Like, when did it start for you?
Well, it was the summer of probably 1987, and my uncle introduced me to Mary Poppins, and after that first time of watching it, I made this man watch it
Every
day, probably about twice a day.
That's crazy.
And I just love it. I love all the music, and I love the thought of Mary Poppins. And when I was older, I really wanted to become a teacher to young children, and I took Mary Poppins with me throughout my time as a daycare teacher.
What do you mean that you took her with you as a daycare?
I followed her examples. Like, I was very matter of fact, but also we had a lot of fun. We just had a lot of fun getting stuff done, and I don't know, it was just, she's awesome.
So, like, what from the movie did you take from it? Like, how close to the heart that the author was trying to keep Mary Poppins? Like, I mean, it was pretty cool seeing the backstory about her growing up with her and like her dad, like encouraging her imagination. But you see her as the adult, and she didn't want anybody to touch the story because it was
her story.
Yeah, it was her story.
She didn't want anyone to ruin Mary for her. Mary was like her family.
Right, she said that several times throughout the movie.
To her. And just like to Walt Disney was the mouse. And he didn't want anyone to mess up his mouse. So they kind of understood that is when she kind of opened up to Walt.
Right.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, we're talking about P.L. Travers, who in the movie is played by Emma Thompson, who did a fantastic job, you know, being kind of the tough as nails, hard ass as she was.
No nonsense.
No nonsense. But then at the end there, after the premiere of the movie, you can see her, and even a little bit before that, when they're in the room where they're working on the script and all the songs and everything, and she finally starts dancing, you see her softening up, and that's really when I feel like you see the magic of Disney being on display in the movie.
And then when she hugs Mickey Mouse and snuggles up, oh.
Oh yeah, because the first time when she's in the gets to the hotel room and she sees all the stuffed animals, she kind of
she's disgusted.
She was disgusted. She was putting them in the closet and stuff. But then later,
my favorite part of it was seeing the. I'm not as huge of a fan as Mary Poppins as Bridget is, but my favorite part was seeing the atmosphere of Walt Disney and the way his studios were set up and the way he did business. Being a huge fan of Walt Disney and the way he created things and how he made his movies and how he ran the parks. I didn't know that he, in one of the parts of the movie, he gave out signature cards instead of actually signing people's stuff.
right?
Stuff like that, little details inside the movie. That's what made me really like the movie, because I'm not only a fan of Mary Poppins, but I'm a fan of Walt Disney himself as well. And being able to see that atmosphere of how things were created, it was really a great movie.
You know, even little touches they put in there, like him trying to hide the fact that he was a smoker, and it was cool showing that other side of him, other than just like the little bit we got a glimpse of on the Wonderful World of Disney and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can actually see in the background he's working on, there's a picture of Florida, and it's the Florida Project, which is really cool to see that.
Yeah. That was really cool. And the fact that this film, Mary Poppins, actually is what funded the creation of Walt Disney World in Orlando.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone knew that, but all the proceeds that they made, all the revenue that they made from the movie Mary Poppins and how popular it was, is the main factor of what made it where they were able to afford the theme parks here in Orlando, and that's what is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I heard too that they were able to film a lot of that stuff when they did go to Disneyland right there, because the main street there hasn't changed that much since the 1960s. They just had to remove a few statues. Like I think the statue of Walt and Mickey, they just had to remove temporarily during filming, and they just shot around the park to make it look like the park did back in the 60s there. But it's pretty cool that they've kept it Main Street true to that original vision he had.
Yeah, one of Disney's main mottos is that the park is a never but ever changing park. You can go to the park today, and then 20 years from now you can go to the park again, and it's almost the exact same park. Yeah, some of the attractions may be different, but you still get the same feeling. You still get the same effect as if you were coming in for your first time or your 101st time.
Yeah.
What else did you enjoy from the movie? Like, what other scenes or what else did you connect with? Like, I really liked the backstory when she was a kid and seeing her relationship with her dad, and then everything with him, and kind of showing how he impacted the story of Mary Poppins, and that it wasn't just the nanny, but also her dad.
Yeah. And he seemed to, a lot of his characteristics were played out in the father. Like, as a Mary Poppins fan, I was, like, so connected into watching Mary Poppins that I didn't realize the other characters, like the father, and, like, he's actually one of the main characters. Like, the whole story is based around him. And watching Mary Poppins, I actually watched the movie after seeing Saving Mr. Banks, and it was like a whole other experience watching.
Right. Even little things like, why would he have a mustache, or
right,
just those little details that P.L. Travers was trying to pick apart, and Walt's like, no, he's going to have a mustache, and the two of them trying to agree and almost agree to disagree at some points, but like just agree on what the vision of the movie is going to be.
And those animated parts are so huge. Like I didn't think like think about them not being there. Like the movie,
Yeah.
so different, so different.
Right, and she thought there wasn't going to be any animation, but there was. And then when they finally kind of spilt the beans, when the musicians there spilt the beans, it was kind of like, what? You told me there was not going to
That
be
was day over.
any. And I also like the little things too. Like, actually, I think that's what I enjoyed most. Like I've told you about, like, the mustache, and the other one I really liked is, and I can't even say it right because it's so ingrained in our brains from growing up. But like when they were working on A Spoonful of Sugar, and they wanted to originally write it so that the notes would go and the medicine goes down. I think that just didn't sound right. And they said,
Right.
what would Mary Poppins do? And she, even though she says down, she would go up a note.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those little details are what I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't ever realize that. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
All of the thousands of times I've seen Mary Poppins, I've never, like, I didn't.
You never think of it. It's just how the music always been. And then they pointed out that the word down, they're actually singing up, and that's and they said that's what Mary Poppins would do. That is what she would do.
And the fact that there was like the creation of the songs that
Yeah.
I thought that I didn't know that they created the songs as they went. I thought they had the songs already created and ready to go before they would start filming. Like, I don't know.
I respect now Feed the Birds more, and I don't know, as everyone knows, I'm horrified of birds.
Yes,
So
you are.
in my whole life, like, I hated that song. I was like, why are we singing about birds? They're horrible pigeons. And it was like, after seeing this, I appreciate the bird song.
Me encountering Bridget's fear of birds. I've grown to fear birds a little bit more too, but I watch out for her.
Right. She needs a little guardian with the birds every once in a while.
But yeah, I like that song now. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and there's actually, I guess, a really interesting documentary called The Boys, who are about those guys who were played by, let's see here, they were played by Jason Schwartzman and B.J. Novak, Robert Sherman and Richard Sherman. I guess there's a really interesting documentary. You might be able to stream it on Netflix called The Boys. And I guess they didn't really get along that much outside of that room where they were writing the songs. I guess outside of there they didn't talk to each other. And that, again, afterward you watch that documentary The Boys to learn more. But you'd think they would. They seemed pretty friendly in the movie.
It
But
seemed like the mutual
They did it
hatred was for P.L. Travers.
yeah.
They
That
did
you
a
didn't
great
think.
job in hiding that. If that's actually the case, in the Disney movie, it doesn't seem like they have a hatred towards each other at all.
Now, let me ask you guys, being the fans you are, was it tough seeing Tom Hanks as Disney, or did you buy into it? Like, did he stop being Tom Hanks eventually?
I can't picture anyone else
I
doing
couldn't
it.
picture anyone else doing it. I thought it was him. Like, it was not Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney. He was Walt Disney.
Bridget and I have talked about this too. Who would we think would be the best person to go into the parks with as a celebrity, and who we think would be the most fun? And Tom Hanks actually was one of our selections because we think that he's such a Disney-oriented person. We think he would be a great person to hang out with, and he would enjoy the parks and stuff like that. And so when we were told that he was going to be the person that plays Walt Disney, it
just made sense.
It was perfect. No one else could portray Walt Disney. And the fact that the CEO of the president of Disney Parks was the one that contacted him and asked him to play this part, it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
If you had to pick like your top 3 Disney movies besides Mary Poppins, and I'm sure you guys have thought about this a lot, probably discussed it a bunch, but it's one thing I was thinking, like, because you're such fans, like, top 3 animated, live action.
Ooh.
Animated, hands down, would have to be The Lion King. The Lion King story is just, it has its ups and its downs, and it's by far, I believe, one of the best Disney movies, animation movies ever created. And people will argue with me with that, but that's my that's my favorite.
That's the first movie that made me cry.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes.
You go through all.
It was horrifying.
You go through all.
It's horrible.
It has its moments.
With Lion King. Best non-animated movie would have to be. Oh, this is hard.
I have like categories of favorite. Like I don't have like 3. I have like so many.
Just name a few, just off the top of your head, just the first one that comes to mind.
Rapunzel is
Rapunzel,
my favorite Disney princess.
Actually, I have to, and I'm afraid to
Frozen
say this. Frozen
is pretty
actually
awesome.
just bumped up to one of my top 3.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard it's really good.
See it.
You haven't seen it? Oh no.
But it just passed Monsters University for gross at the box office, so clearly it's being well received.
Yeah.
That's another one. I have a personal connection with Monsters Inc. Sully. My last name's Sullivan.
It's true.
Grandpa's name was James P. You know.
Well, what are the odds of that?
I would have to say that
Toy Story.
all 3 of my favorite movies are all 3 animated. So like I said, Lion King my first. Frozen would have to be my second right about now. And my third, it's a special place in my heart, is Beauty and the Beast actually, because of my involvement with the Walt Disney Company and the entertainment aspect of what I've done with the company, and being able to portray one of the characters, actually, the Beast, and it actually a really great opportunity, and that storyline it makes it work. I love it so much more.
It is a great story. I don't even know what mine would be. Toy Story is definitely up there. Probably Aladdin. I'm a big Aladdin fan.
There's so many great movies.
There's so many.
It was funny too. Like I was just watching.
There's over 350 Disney movies. That's a really hard decision to make.
But even just other ones, like I was just watching Don John last night, and it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tony Danza again. I guess it was 20 years ago. That was Angels in the Outfield. And,
yeah, that's a good one.
I remember growing up watching that, and I'm like, I love that movie just because it's baseball and it's just fun.
The Muppets.
Oh my God.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Finding Nemo.
Nemo, yeah, like.
And then now Star Wars is going to be incorporated into all this.
It's crazy.
It's too much.
Too much.
Speaking of that, have you guys? I'm sure you've seen it. The Patton Oswalt filibuster, where he talks about what the next Avengers movie would be and how he works in Star Wars and the Avengers.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Hilarious.
Totally off topic. There's a new hat at Disney, and it's Darth Vader with ears.
And we thought of you.
Well, we did get the R2-D2 one.
Oh.
Yes, but this
one
has
nothing compared to Darth Vader.
It is.
Oh no.
We're gonna send you one.
I'm gonna pull up a picture of it and show you real quick.
All right.
We were both like, Dave has to have these.
He was pretty popular. We got in line to try and meet Darth Vader, but it was just moving slow. People were taking like 50 pictures with him when they got up there. So.
We also went during Star Wars weekend.
It probably wasn't the smartest weekend to go try and talk to Darth Vader, but.
Yeah.
That stormtrooper we talked to was pretty cool.
Can you see it?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
That is amazing.
Yep.
I know a lot of people are like a little bit concerned with Disney, owning now Marvel and Star Wars, but it seems like they're handling it well. Like if you go see like Thor: The Dark World or anything, you don't see the castle logo at all. Before they just run right into the Marvel, so it seems like they're respecting that. Like, all right, we might own it, but let's still let Marvel be Marvel. And I assume 2015 when they release Star Wars, you'll see Lucasfilm or whatever. Bad robot because of J.J. Abrams, but I'll be surprised if they put a Disney logo in front of that as well. And who cares? It's still going to be the same movie, but.
Yeah, I think they respect it.
I think they respect the fans too. So.
I also think, like, much unlike any other companies, yes, Disney pretty much like owns the world. Like if they could actually own the world, they most likely would, because they make a lot of money. But at the same time, I don't feel that it's about the money.
Right.
Like me and Patrick just had an experience. We actually got to walk around the Magic Kingdom with the vice president of the park.
That's amazing.
It was a pretty big deal, and his passion about the park and his experience was just like beyond anything like of imagine. He loves his job so much. He loves what he does. Like
being the fact that he opened the park in 1971, he was a regular cast member and worked at the Haunted Mansion, and then he got to move his way on up through the ranks and is now the vice president of Magic Kingdom Parks. It's pretty awesome being able to spend a morning with him and walk all of Main Street, all of Fantasyland, and then we got to ride the train over to Main Street again
with Mary Poppins.
With all of the characters, and even Mary Poppins is actually right in front of us, and we posted a picture on Facebook with Mary Poppins.
I cried the whole
right
way.
in front of us, just like I know it's a character, and yes, this person is probably in college, one of the college program students or something like that. But how Disney portrays their characters and how they train each and every single person that portrays one of their characters, we actually feel like that is Mary Poppins, that is Mickey Mouse, and it's a great experience. That's why we keep going back every single day. It's because of the cast members. In the long run, yes, we love the rides, yes, we love the shows, but it's the people that work there that makes us keep coming back.
Definitely, yeah, you introduced me to some of your favorites while we were down there, and they were all really nice, really cool, and just, like I said, super enthusiastic about just being there and being part of the Disney universe.
Yeah. They're all, like, most of them. Rarely you bump into, yes, there's always bad experiences everywhere, but it's pretty few and far between here because everyone is there for the same reason. They love Disney, ultimately. They love what they do.
So how did you get that tour with the VP there? Like, was there like a contest or something, or was it just?
Disney has what's called limited time magic, and the Disney Park blogs, they post these contests on their blog, and you have to sign up between a certain time frame. Well, I have notifications on my phone whenever Disney tweets. I get a notification directly to my phone, and I saw the tweet, and I signed myself up and Bridget up at the same time. And
I didn't know.
We just lucked out, and they had 5 different days, and I selected all 5 days for both of us, and we ended up being the same time and everything.
Same day.
If you get selected, you don't get to bring a guest. You just get to go by yourself, and the fact that we both got to go together on the same day was pretty ecstatic.
We were
Oh, and they gave us a special pin, too, it's a special pin dedicated to the Vice President of the Magic Kingdom, and it has his signature on the back of it and everything. It's really cool. Really cool.
Nice. So we know one of your favorite aspects of the park is on Animal Kingdom, the Festival of the Lion King. But if you had to pick another favorite place to go, where would it be? Why?
Where? What?
I love the Magic Kingdom.
Well,
it's just it's a classic.
Each park has it.
But they're all special.
Each park has its own reasons for us to go to. If we it's hard to choose just one single park to go to. Epcot if we want to get drunk, or Animal Kingdom if we want to just to explore the nature. Hollywood Studios if we want to go for thrill rides, and the Magic Kingdom if we want to have that special kid moment come out of us and go skip down Main Street like we did a couple of weeks ago, and get that balloon on Main Street, or
just hold the balloons.
Go to Tomorrowland and get a cream cheese stuffed pretzel. Where else can you get a cream cheese stuffed pretzel? Nowhere but Disney. Or or a Dole Whip. There's only 2 locations in the world that you can get a Dole Whip pineapple float. You can get it at Disney or in Hawaii. It's
Or eat a turkey leg that actually tastes like ham. That's weird.
or get a carrot cake cookie, or there's like the different foods, the
They
different.
got everything there.
Everything is
It's
so
just
amazing.
Disney does a great job in portraying in bringing things to life and making it where you don't have to worry about every single day life. And they did a great job in portraying this movie into that type of atmosphere. The fact that I want to bring up the movie again.
Yeah, sure.
The moment that hit me the most is when she gets pulled up to Disneyland. Who gets to walk Disneyland Park with Walt Disney? Anyone would be.
And it was like a nuisance to her. Like,
Yeah.
everyone was like, what?
I would be if I could be in that place, walking the park with Walt Disney. I would do it in a heartbeat. And
he wouldn't have to even make a bet to try and get you on the Ferris wheel.
I wouldn't have to have a bet.
Or the merry-go-round.
Every ride with him.
We actually haven't ridden the carousel together.
Oh my gosh.
And
we made a point.
We made a point that it needs to happen.
The next time we go to Magic Kingdom, we will be riding the.
And I didn't know he had a favorite horse. Like, what?
And ever since then, we've been blasting the music for Mary Poppins, and it's just.
Yeah, I like the score to the movie too. Like even just that little the instrumental for Chim Chimney, opening it, and then the little hints of the Mary Poppins soundtrack and the score behind it beyond when they were in the room writing the songs and everything. I liked how they incorporated all that into the score.
And then the fact that at the end of the movie, when the credits are rolling, they actually play the recordings of the actual interviews and actual sitting down with the scripts.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
The fact that she demanded that it be recorded, I think that's awesome.
She was a boss.
And I'm very thankful that she did that, because how would they portray the movie like they did unless they recorded it like she had them do? And so, in all reality, she made it where it was possible to make this movie.
Yeah, it's cool that you see that. Even though Disney kind of had his vision for it and she had her vision, like they did, and they were at each other's heads for a long time. They did eventually collaborate and find that happy medium to tell the story that they both wanted. And
yeah, and they're both such passionate people that it was kind of crazy to see that.
I've heard that this movie's not 100% accurate. I mean, obviously, any biopic is not going to be 100% accurate. But have you guys heard anything about that anymore? Stuff they might have gotten wrong or?
I actually haven't. And me being the person that I am, I try and research everything that I can about Disney and about movies that come out with Disney, and I haven't found much information for it to be false. The only thing I have found is that part of the childhood life of the creator of Mary Poppins wasn't 100% the same way they portrayed it in the movie. But other than that, they did a great job in making sure that they got their facts right.
I also like there's so many stories within this story. Also, the driver and
played by Paul Giamatti, who did great.
And their relationship, that was interesting. I actually wanted her to bring him as her guest when they were going in
to the premiere.
It was like, no.
It was so cool though at the premiere that when she does eventually lock arms with Mickey so he can escort her to her seat, that was just
yeah.
That moment when she finally accepts
she accepted Disney, she was, yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking when she gets, they were showing clips of the movie as it's, debuting and all that.
And say, this is all wrong.
It's interesting, they're showing the clips and it's how she was getting so emotional about it, and it's
I would.
And, you almost feel like the emotion that she was having as it's going on.
I did have that emotion. I was bawling my eyes out.
There's one thing I wanted to say about the movie, and this is the only negative thing I have to say about it, is it's kind of sometimes confusing when they would just jump back and forth between past and the present. That sometimes I got a little confused on where we were at inside the storyline, but other than that, it was great. And if I were to rate this movie, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Sometimes the the flashbacks were a little too quick that you're trying to grasp at what they were trying to express there. But I almost feel like if they told the backstory as like the opening act and then went into the story, that it would have just been too linear and you wouldn't have had that same emotional connection to everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
Like they could have done that maybe a little bit better. I agree with you, Patrick, there, but I also liked how they broke it up that way, so you could almost see the evolution of like her childhood along with the evolution of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I don't know. It was I just got confused at some points, but other than that, it was an excellent movie, and I would go see it again.
Yeah. I loved the conversation, that last conversation that they had when he said that this needs to happen. You need to bring this to life so that kids and families and everyone needs to see this because it's such a great story. Like, and I just got such a personal like feeling towards it because had this movie not had happened, like I wouldn't have that memory with my uncle. Like sitting and having him like sit there with me, and as much as the movie probably annoyed him after the 100th time a day that he watched it with me, it was like I always have that my uncle sat there and watched this movie. It's just pretty cool. Like it totally brought that conversation to life to me. It was like, that's so real.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap up our discussion on Saving Mr. Banks. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, definitely. Again, for Movie Night Spotlight, I'm Dave Lindsay.
And Bridget and Patrick.
And Patrick.
All right. Have a good one, folks.
Bye.
Bye.